Graphs are a really great form of communication, actually. So when you get in with a partner, or you might have two partners because we have an odd number of people, when you get in there with a partner, you can communicate through graphs. And we see graphs all the time on the news and stuff. And that's a way of learning, of getting communicated with. Sometimes, yay, now oh, Valerie came in and left, but I think we'll have one more person. That's good. Sometimes they'll lie with graphs. So you can't, don't, that's why we go to school, to learn to not be gullible and not just believe everything someone tells us on the internet or something. So we don't want to just believe whatever they tell us, but graphs are a great visual tool to communicate, and you don't even need that much language. But I'm hoping you all are going to talk to each other because it's part of the assignment. So you'll use language. But graphs also can be artistic. It doesn't have to be, but you can make an artistic drawing and use graphs. Like if you've done beadwork, at least in the Lakota Art 1, they use that special graph paper for doing beadwork designs. It's not quite like this, but it's kind of the same idea. So if you're good at beadwork, I expect you to probably be good at graphing, and because there's a strong connection. But sometimes people are like, I don't know what to draw. So this is the task 1. There's going to be task 1, 2, 3. 3 parts to the activity. So the first task is to make a really simple picture. Like here, I'm going to make one. I'll make it symmetrical. You don't want to make the same one as mine, but I wouldn't actually care if you did. It wouldn't bother me. But I'm going to show you what happens sometimes, and it's funny, and it's okay, right? So this is going to be the pieces, and this is the image that I'm thinking of, which you might have, if you were doing this activity, you might have connected them different. And that's normal. It happens all the time. It's a little bit funny. It's nobody's fault, right? So it's like a little bit of a tulip design, right? So sort of like the Ashnabi beadwork designs that are more flowers. And then, so I would draw this privately and not show my partner. So you'll have some time to think of something. If you can't think of anything, I'll check in with your groups and I'll help you think of something. Sometimes people are like, well, I don't know. Well, I don't care if you just do a rectangle, honestly. Well, that's fine. Or a rectangle inside of another one. That's cool too, doesn't matter. You could just do a lightning bolt for your picture. But what you do need to do, though, is make sure they're right on a coordinate spot. And these are a little blurry, so let me count. This is -1, 2, 3. Okay, so this first one, then I write down my coordinates. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're just counting the spaces. Yeah. So -3, 7. This one over here is 1, 7. It's the same level up. And you take your time with this. And hopefully you and your partner could be chatting while you do this, like do some small talk, ask them what they're going to do for the weekend, or what's the last cool meal they made, or if they like to grill. I don't know, just any old kind of small talk is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because as if we're in class, like we normally would, we'd just be like chattering while we do this activity. And then this one's going to be 1, 3. And this is -3, 3. And I'm almost done. This is -1, 0. If you haven't done graphing in a while, that's okay too. That you ask your partner or me to check if you did the right coordinates. Those are called coordinates, or ordered pairs. This one's -1, -3. And then I picked a lot in a row. I'll show you why. -2, -3. -3, -3, and -4, -2. There. So I have an extensive example with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 ordered pairs. I don't need you to have more than 5. 5 is plenty. 5 is plenty. Then you'll tell your, or you could write it in the chat, just the list of ordered pairs to your partner. And they'll do the same for you. They'll send you their ordered pairs, but not the picture, just the ordered pairs. Then you'll take a fresh sheet of graph paper or on, or on your notebook or whatever you're using, and try to plot all those points and connect the dots and see if you end up with the picture that they had in their head. Maybe if they think really hard through the internet, maybe they'll send you a psychic image, but no, I don't know if that would work. I have friends who believe that that works, that they communicate with their pets that way. A guy who used to teach with me actually at OLC. But once you have all those points plotted and you connect the dots, then you'll hold up your picture for your partner, and that's the one that I'd like to see both. So upload both of your graphs to Moodle when you guys are done. So that's task 1. That's the longest one, task 1. So if anyone has questions about that, feel free to ask me. Let me just show you what can happen sometimes. Let's see. And this, you wouldn't lose points for this at all. And like I said, I think it's kind of funny. It's a little bit like playing that telephone game. Lost a couple of my points, but luckily I had them written down. -1, -3. There it went. 2, 3. Here. I had -1, 0 wasn't there. 2. Okay, now you just see the points. And if someone had told me these points, I might be like, oh, okay, it's like this. I'm going to connect them that way. Then here. And then here, here, here. That's some kind of a flag flower or something, right? That wouldn't be wrong if you show that to your partner. If they giggle, they're like, oh, that's not what I had pictured. That's okay though. But you still plotted the points and connected them, and just see if you get the same shape that they imagined. Or if they told you their points incorrectly, you might be somewhere totally else on the page. That's okay too. So everybody will get full credit for just participating with us today. So no worries about that. Task 2 is with your partner. Brainstorm, like look around your room or whatever. There'll be 2 of you, I think. Well, there might be 3 of you. So let's say 6. Find 6 examples in your environment, hopefully, of math or shapes. Well, shapes are math, but math, measuring, shapes, tiles, right angles, triangles. I'm looking at like my lampshades, anything. So it's just 6 examples of math shapes. So that's like a team job with your partner, and we'll share that when we come back to the group. And then the third one is just find out 2 unique things about your partner. Nothing like embarrassing, not their secret tattoo or something. Just 2 unique things that they feel like sharing with you. Like, let's say usually if I'm with a partner for the first time and the instructor asks us to do that, I'd say, well, I've lived in Africa, and what else could I say I have a black belt in karate. That's one that I say sometimes because it kind of surprises people, but I'm not trying to get, or if you have like a pet ferret, or if you once once removed a tooth from a horse, things like that. So just, it doesn't have, not bragging, like just unique, and not like so some stalker is going to come find you. That's not what I'm trying to do either. Just getting to know each other a little. And so then when we come back to the group, these ones you're going to upload, part one. You don't have to share that in the group because it's a little hard depending on your device that you've got. We don't all have document cameras. I don't even have one where I'm at right now, so I don't expect you to share those with the group, but definitely upload them and I'll remind you. But this one of you is going to share that with the group, what your 6 examples were. And then you'll each tell what the unique things were about your partner. So everybody will get a chance to speak at least that much. Some people just don't want to talk. So that's the only thing that everyone's going to say out loud. So whatever you share with your partner as your unique thing, the whole class is going to hear it. So be careful about what you share, unless you want people to know. I don't care. It's up to you. Does anyone have any questions about all this?
So for the first example or the first one, like do it on your own and then upload it.
Do it on your own, then tell your partner what the points are.
Okay.
And then draw it, and then upload both. Upload your graph to Moodle, and then upload what you drew for your partner. And then show each other. Like you'll be in a breakout room together. I'm about to open those up. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, and I have a place in Moodle for you to upload those today, so it should be easy to find for day 5. We're a third of the way through after today. Isn't that amazing? Anyone else have questions? And while you're in your breakout room, I'll go visit. There's only going to be 3 or 4 breakout rooms, so I'll be visiting a lot, bugging you. No, yeah.
I kind of need clarification on step 2 for like 6 examples of math or shapes. So like those are like example problems.
Oh, sure. No, just like this. So here's mine. You could this would be my 6 examples for the room where I'm sitting in right now. Would be, can you all see me? See right up above me, there's that line right there between the ceiling and the wall. So I'd say the crown molding line, that's math. That's a shape, but it's also math, That'd be one. And behind me, there's also some pictures. So I'd say those picture frames are square in this case. Square pictures. And then right around here, here I can turn this up. I don't have anything embarrassing in my area, I hope. There's my water bottle. That's kind of a cylinder shape. So I would say cylinder shape. And then I'm keeping it this way on purpose because we have to set up this machine today, this CPAP here. So this has numbers, shapes, and letters and instructions. That's mathematical. That's 3-dimensional geometry right there. And see, there's numbers. So I'd use that and your partner will pick some too. So between the 2 of you, you need to find 6. So numbers and 3D shape for the CPAP machine of a machine. So that's all I'm looking for. Oh, and you can see right there, there's a lampshade and a doorway. So look, mine are mostly geometry where I'm sitting right here. But yours might not be, or you might have a beadwork near you, or a star quilt, or just a bill. If you have a bill sitting there near you, and that you don't have to show it, it's just a bill with some numbers on it. That would be an example too. So let me I said I would do 6. So let's say the lampshade is kind of it was this shape from where I'm looking. So that's a trapezoid. shape, but you could do any number of things too. There's also, hold on, where are we? I was looking at the camera, but I realized I still have my thing the wrong way. There's a cushion too, that's a shape. There's my daughter's senior picture back there. Don't see very many math things in her senior picture though, but does that make better sense? It should be pretty simple.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay, good. Sometimes I ask people to just go through their day and jot down all the mathy things. So it might be the gas price, or they had to go buy some paint or varnish, or or putting up Sundance. One student's absent today because they're setting up their Sundance. And just think of all the math there. There's different building things and the the pole and there's a lot of shapes going on there, and numbers and counting. Cooking, if you're cooking, then look at all the math in that. So you could have it if you have a cup. Oh, speaking of which, like my water bottle has, in fact, I wanted to mention that to the class because we're going to get to this next week. This kind of water bottle has the metric on one side. Sorry about the jiggle. Jiggle. Anyway, so we've got the metric on the left and the regular, not regular, but the US customary on the right. 32 ounces is really close to 1,000 milliliters. So that would count too. You could say the amounts on my pop can or my water bottle, ounces or whatever. All right, I'll be quiet, but I'll come visit your groups too. It'll just take me a couple minutes to get you set up into breakout rooms. So if you need a quick stretch, or if you have a printer and you're going to print out graph paper, you have some time right now for that. I'll pause the recording and I'll see you in a little bit.
There we go. I'm going to go to the top of the page just in case anybody's watching the video sometime. So we're looking at this. This is in the WebAssign e-text, chapter 2, section 1. And she's going to go through talking about how to do that, if that helps. And then these always have some study tips and then examples. So for example, if you have x plus 2, the terms are x and 2. If you have 3x plus a half, the terms are 3x and a half. So they're like the pearls on a necklace is what I figure, or the gold balls, like with little spacers between them. It's kind of the idea. And the coefficient is just the number part. If there's no number showing, it's 1. If there's a fraction involved, it's like you just pull out that letter and it's what's left.
I got a question. I am not sure how you're seeing what you're seeing on your screen. Like, because I can only see my assignments, but I can't see like lessons. I don't know.
Oh, how to get there when you go in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good idea. Let me back up and show you that. And then we'll go through those practice problems. Hold on, I go to the home, WebAssign home, and then I'll switch it to student view. Hang on, I'm gonna unshare and get it so it comes up to the right place. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you for asking that. That's a really good question. Okay. So here we are. If you get into your WebAssign, it should look like this. And there's nothing else due, remember, but past assignments were those the getting used to WebAssign, then ABC, and then the quiz. So you've had 5 assignments already. But if you go up to this blue toolbar to my ebooks, and then click it, It should come up what I was showing. Yep, there it goes. So that makes sense. Does everybody see that okay? And
Yeah, and
then-
that's where the homework is, right?
Yep, the homework's in.
Then I probably was doing the wrong homework.
Oh, no, the homework, it looks like here. Hold up. Right here. If you go into my assignments and go to these ones, these are the homeworks, all the homeworks that we had this week. Does yours look like that when you go into WebAssign?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's the right homework. Mhm. I don't assign homework out of the textbook when we have WebAssign because I think this is just a little bit more efficient. But yeah, in the ebook, let me see if it even has an exercise section. Let's look. Okay, so where we were was here. It has these kind of exercises, but it doesn't have the exercises like the hardcover textbook does. It just has these kind where, like, we'll go through this right now, but this isn't, I don't assign this, but we do sometimes do it together in class, like we will, so you can get some participation points today. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone else have a question? Okay, so let's go down the line. What's the variable for this one for x plus 3? Tell me what the variable is. Anybody could just say it if you want. What? X?
X?
Yeah. I better keep up now with the extra credit though. All right, for number 2, what's the variable?
Y.
Good. How about for number 3?
M.
Yep. And N, right?
Oh, and then yeah.
And then in yours, everybody, because I'm still in student mode on here, so you could see the answers to these ones that say answer. See, it's pretty nice. I like that interactive part. Then that would be A and B. Now this one, the terms would be 4x and 3 for the first one. So they write it like that with a comma. This one would be 5 and negative 3t to the second. So the negative goes with that one next to it. Like this one down here, 5/3 and negative 3y to the third are the terms. Let's go on down to who could tell me the coefficient for number 11?
14.
Yep, good. And now I'll call on people. Dawn, are you still there? What's the coefficient for number 12? I'll go on down the line. Tommy, what's the coefficient for number 12?
25.
Good. All right. Let's see who else. Deanna, what's the coefficient for number 13? Oh, Deanna, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just thinking.
Okay.
Would that be a 1? Oh, would that be a 1?
Oh, for 13, I gave you a hard one. Yeah. No, it's that whole fraction, negative 1/3. Good try.
Oh,
though.
okay. My bad. I thought that the whole fraction said 1s. I don't know why, but it's just like really small on my computer.
Oh, it might be just small on everybody's. Thank you for telling me that too. Let's get that bigger. If I can, with my little screen thingamajig. There, that'd be better. Sorry about that, folks.
Oh no, you're
Okay.
good.
How about, that's more fraction ones. So like for 14, the coefficient would be 2/3. For 15, who knows? Let's see who I haven't called on. Kristen, what's the coefficient for 15?
Is it 2/5?
Yeah, good job. Yep. And then Hannah, I almost missed you there. What's the coefficient for number 16? Are you there? Miss Hannah? No.
She put it in the chat.
What?
She put her answer in the chat.
Oh, did she? Oh, I didn't even look at the chat. Thank you. Mike's not working. Oh, good job. All right. You got it, ma'am. Okay, good. And then for 17, it would be everything that's not the letter to the power. So it's 2 pi. That one's a little confusing for a coefficient. And then this one would be just pi. Anyone have questions about those? We talked a lot about exponential form yesterday. So I'm not going to worry about these too much, just as different, more examples of exponents. This one we didn't talk about. If you have y plus 2 to the third, for example, you just write it out 3 times like that next to itself. Or this one, 5x parentheses squared would be 5x times 5x. And y to the third is y times y times y. And then they just spread it all the way. That's fully expanded for E, fully expanded form. And they always have some videos in there if you want to see them. Then here's some examples that are not done right. They're right here and then they're not right, which is kind of cool to see, but it could be confusing. And then here's the exercises. Then there's also another website right here that you can go to for free because you have your textbook or you have the access. And that'll give you more solutions and more videos. And it also has worksheets and stuff and study guides. Anyway, we could skip this part with the exponents because I think we did enough yesterday, but like this one would be 2 times 2 times x times x times x times x, like that. So I think that'll be just fine to skip today. And we'll do more of chapter 2 topics on Tuesday, so it's not like I'm just gonna move on. But this is the most fun and exciting part of chapter 2, in my opinion. Evaluate an expression for different values of a variable. So what that means is plug in those numbers wherever you see the variable. So substitute is the word. Substitute in -3 in the first one. So we already have a negative sign there, and then put a -3. So that answer would be -3, and then they show it down here. It'd be +3. That one's kind of a boring one though, isn't it? Like this one is a little better. X minus y means find the x. Find your x. No, leave your x alone. But in algebra, we want to bring the x back out and play with it. No, I'm just kidding. So x is -3 and y is 5. So -3 minus 5 is how we would set that up. And in math class, I ask you to show that on paper. And so like when you show your scratch paper for the midterm next week, for example, you would show these steps, the setup, and then the arithmetic. So we go from algebra is a mixture of letters, symbols, and numbers, operation symbols. And that's algebra. Arithmetic is what we do before algebra, which is just numbers and operations. So we go from, now we're jumping into some algebra, getting it back to arithmetic. So that's what's going on with that one. Then C was 3x plus 2y. And we'll do lots of practices of these too in class on Tuesday. So, but if it's easy for you or you like it, I'll post it. I'll open the assignment in WebAssign if anyone wants to jump in and work on it. And ask me if you have questions, if you do that over the weekend, if you do it early. So that's saying 3x means 3 times x, 3 times negative 3 in this case. And that's why it's called a variable, because its value changes like on a whim. Like why they pick, people always ask me, why they pick those numbers? It's just like picked out of a hat. I could have put in 2 and negative 10, or I could have put in 100 and 500, like, or a half or a decimal, negative numbers. Like, so it could be any real number. So they're just saying take 3 times x plus 2 times y, write the numbers down and do the math, do the arithmetic. This one's a little trickier because we have to multiply negative 2 times x plus y. So that one always stumps people, D. Because people want to take the 5 minus 2 first because it's left to right, and that's how we read. But in order of operations, we've got to do what's inside the bracket first. So we do that, negative 3 plus 5 is 2 right here. And then this 2 sitting out front means multiply. Multiplying comes before subtracting in our order of operations. So we have to multiply that first. So that'll be 4. I should write that on there. Make a little circle right there. And no one feels comfortable with that. People always get that wrong. A lot of math teachers will put that on a test on purpose to trip people up. I try not to do that, but I also want you to know that this is going to be 5 minus 4. And that's why the answer is 1 right there. So that one is a little bit weird. And like I said, we'll do more of these on Tuesday when our minds are fresh and well rested, well celebrated. What about when there's a variable y to the second minus 3y? So y to the second, we put it in, when we substitute in, we put it in parentheses like that. So 5 to the second minus 3 times 5. That way, if it was negative, which it isn't, but if it had been negative, we would handle the negative sign correctly. So it's 25 minus 15. So it ends up to be 10 for that one. And then why don't we just do these 3? So yeah, I'm just gonna pause right now. Everybody grab a piece of paper. It takes a little bit of time because we're gonna do it. Each one put in 1/2 for x, for example, get an answer. And then go to part B, go back in with -4 and get an answer. So just do these 3 and send me the answers in the chat or a screenshot of your work, okay? And then I think I'll probably stop after this. I mean, I'll scroll through the end of this section, but then we'll just stop and go ahead and have a nice weekend. I'm gonna pause. Okay, I heard from almost everybody. Good job. That was really nice to see. And then somebody even started dipping down into 40 and 41, which was not required, but wonderful. And I'm gonna really quick turn on my tablet so I could show these better. And so if you want to go on to 40, 41, 42, you can. That's not required, but just if you're like into it, you don't want to waste your time while I turn on my tablet, you can. But I'll be right back with the tablet. Wonderful. Let's see now. I need that screen we were on. So you guys just see my whiteboard for a minute. I can put it back up if anyone was like, what the heck? Why'd she do that to me? I just wanted to show 37A would be 2 times 1/2 minus 1. And then all right, so we've got 2 over, put it over 1. And then it would, if you don't cross cancel, you'd end up with 2 halves, which is fine, minus 1, which is 1 minus 1 equals 0. So that's why that one comes out that way. Anyone have a question about that one? It seemed like the people who sent me answers only struggled with the fraction ones, which is normal, or the negatives. Sometimes people struggle with those too, but nobody seemed to have trouble with that. Then what I do on the whiteboard is I go back and just use it like a template. And now I'm going to go back to that same expression and substitute in -4 right there. And multiply first. And then subtract -8 minus 1 more is -9. That's where some people struggle also with that, but none of you did, so that I've seen. So that's pretty cool. Then we go to 38A. And that was the original template, is the way I think about it, is x equals 4/3. So we want to plug in 4/3 right here, -2. And once again, it's helpful to put that over 1. So multiply the tops and multiply the bottoms. If you want to just do it that way without the canceling, that's fine. But if you do cancel, 3 goes into both of these. So we'd have 1 times 4 over 1 times 1. And that just equals 4 minus 2, which is 2. Anybody have a question about that one? Okay, then we're going to substitute in same template right here, but we're substituting in -1. So we take 3 times -1, subtract 2, so it equals -5. And then I'll show 39 and 40 also, if anybody wants to see them. Well, whether you want to see it or not, I'm just kidding. 39. I just like to show the step by step. Sometimes on the tablet really helps to talk through it instead of just like pointing with a pointer, So 2x squared minus 5, we want to put in 2 first for X. So I just do that first. Those of you who texted me your work is beautiful with nice lined up steps showing. Very good. You'll be like top of the game when you get back to face classes too, because the teachers will be looking for that. So 2 to the second we do first. Then we're going to multiply by 2 and then subtract 5. See how order of operations is not left to right, and it's not like any kind of logic that we use anywhere else. So it's hard sometimes to get used to. It just feels like, and actually just remember that, like, if you might have heard this before, but it's like the rules of the game, like somebody just, well, it's true, these math people just made up the rules. They just said, let's say that this is the rule, and then this, like, they made up the numbers and they made up the rules, and all different cultures made up numbers. So it's not just like old white men in Greece or whatever. Like, everyone had their numbers, everyone had their systems of counting and working with their numbers. So we could just remember that. That's really important to remember, because we all have ownership of that. Everybody used numbers to communicate. Sometimes I talk about this in other kinds of classes. To communicate, like to do trading and finance, and to tell how big something was or how much they got, or how much space they needed if they're carrying stuff, moving camp and stuff like that. So they're just numbers galore. So anyway, exponent goes first, parentheses, then exponents, then multiply, then subtract. Now, I was talking so much with that one, I just want to make sure I got it right. Yeah, that's 13. So that's 39. And then I said I'd show 40. And if anybody didn't have time to copy that down, I mean, it's in your e-text. You always can do extra work too. If you like it, you can go in the e-text and do these little exercises and send me them for extra credit anytime if you want to, but I don't require it, because I just don't want to max you out, use up all your energy. So we want to stay fresh. So 40 was this, and A said T equals 2, and then B said go back in and put in 3. So we could have anything for our variable, any letter. We even could have, like, some math, like fancy abstract math, they'll have like shapes like that for their variable. So it doesn't even have to be a letter, but we're almost done. So let's get on with it. You're probably thinking that. Get on with it, Jenny. You said we're going to go soon. We are. Here's 2 is going in where the T was. So this is one of those that is a little tricky for people, and that's why they put it on there. Same with 41. Well, 41's not that tricky, but this one is, because again, people want to take it out of order. They see this, like I just wrote right here, and they want to do the subtraction first, because it comes first left to right, and that's how we read. That's totally normal. So if you feel like you wish you could do the subtraction first, you're not alone, but you can't. And so we could go ahead and, like, I like box it up or stick a highlighter. If I have a student who's struggling with the order, I just say, like, look through it and find your multiplication, do that next. So we could color it in or whatever we need to do. And then 16 times 4 is 64. So it's going to be 64 minus 64. So that was 40A. It was that. And I'll put these up when I'll share those problems again as we're leaving and signing off, because if you want to write them down, you can do them later, or if you're just feeling curious. Now I go back in and we're going to put the 3 in where the T was. Just like that. So that's for part B. And now it's 64 minus 16 times 9. So it's 64 minus, what's that, 90 and 54, isn't it? 144. So we're going to end up, that one ends up to be negative, doesn't it? 64 minus 144. I suddenly can't do that in my head. Oh, well, that's okay. Just do it right here. The bigger number is 144, so it's going to be negative 80. Anybody have any questions about those problems on the whiteboard? Yeah, someone just commented that the rules are hard to remember. And that's why, because these people like a long time ago made them up. Like me, I always forget all the rules of basketball or hockey. I love watching hockey, but I don't know all the rules. And I hear that like in football, they change the rules sometimes. Like, well, at least in math, we don't change the rules too much until you get super advanced, and then they like make up their own system and stuff, which is more fun. Like imagine how fun it would have been to just make up your own math. And we do that actually in the teacher class. Sometimes we make up our own math and make up the symbols and make up the rules, and any rule is okay if you make it up. And so that helps people see like, oh, you know, it's just some game somebody made up. But then in school they like force us to follow that one particular game, and some people are like, just gag me with this game. There's 40, 41, and 42. If you want to copy those down and do those later, you can, but I'm gonna end the class now unless anyone has questions about these ones that we did today. That's the end of section 2.1. And like I said, I'll put the WebAssign up, but it's not going to be due until Wednesday. So you really could take a break if you want to. At least take a break from my class. Or if you're behind, but hardly anybody's behind right now. A couple people. So if you're behind, catch up. If you need to talk to me, let me know. I'm traveling Sunday, hopefully, if my flight goes. Otherwise, I'll be kind of around so I can answer if anyone needs to talk to me or meet with me or anything. Plus, I'll stay after class if you want to stay on, if you have any questions or need to talk to me about anything. Okay. Now I need to stop this screen share so I can see you all. I can even see me on my tablet. Let me get that off of there. There. So turn on your camera, wave goodbye if you're leaving, and then have a great weekend. Stay safe. Don't let any fireworks knock into your legs.